But you also want to keep it brief. As Paulina said, you don't need to talk about all of it. It's, maybe there's 2 to 3 different projects from the year that you want to highlight. And you can keep it brief so that it's not overwhelming to your audiences. The 6th key ingredient are certifications. Do you have street cred through third-party validation or third-party certifications? Make sure you're showing them on your impact report. Another really big key ingredient that some people overlook when they're thinking about their impact report. Number 7, testimonials. There's impact, there's praise for your product, services, impact. These testimonials might come from customers. They might come from team members or suppliers. These are things that you hear from your stakeholders, whoever they are, that really highlights why you're doing what you're doing. And that can really interweave within the storytelling as well. And number 8, engagement is probably the most important part. You want to make it easy for people to engage with your company. So including the within your impact report, is there a call to action that people can take to be involved further? Social media links so that they can follow you on LinkedIn and Twitter and all the places. And maybe they could sign up for your e-newsletter. Maybe you've got some event that you want people to register for. There's all these different opportunities for bringing along your audience past the impact report to really engage with your company. The last thing that is not listed here, I maybe should have said it back in certifications, but there's also a legal requirement for public benefit corporations. There might be things that, based on your state, you have to include in your impact report. We've actually put together a tool that allows you to see what state you're in, what are the requirements, and the ability for you to include those in these impact reports as well. So I'm going to switch over to give you a demo of one of our customers' real life impact reports. This was actually the very first impact report that was published on our platform. It's from Rivanna Natural Designs, which is an awards company. They create trophies and plaques and things. And they used our tool to create their 2021 impact report. And I wanted to show you all of these ingredients are based on their company. They really pulled together what they could to put together a very powerful impact report that we're so proud of. So up here, you can see they have information about their company values, what is their social impact. They've highlighted the SDG goals that they're working towards. We've got a letter from Crystal, the CEO, and their top impact numbers. So they diverted 3.5 metric tons of waste. They're running on 100% renewable energy. 2% of their profits went to charitable giving, and their carbon neutral shipping is 100% carbon neutral. So they also have different stories of impacts in their community, on their environment, on people, who their partners are. And finally, it's wrapped up with what are their goals? What are the goals for 2022? They've got net zero by 2025. And every year you're able to update what are your goals for the next year down the road. And then also we've got all of their certifications that they're really proud and worked hard to get. So these reports are all completely customizable. I want to give you a quick little demo of what it looks like when you're editing a report. So we saw the actual published report from Rivanna, and I'm going to jump over here to show you what it's like to edit a report. We've got a step-by-step process for you to be able to choose the template that you want to use for creating the report, you'll have the ability to pretty much just enter the content as you have it, and the report generator will output based on the template that you select and then the content that you add in, the final report, which you'll get a preview of before it's published. But here's a preview of the 2022 Unity Web Agency Impact Report that is very much in progress right now, just like a lot of companies' 2022 impact reports are in progress. So you'll have the ability to preview this, and if you want to make edits to certain sections, you can just click on the edit button and change out some text, change out some images, and those changes will be reflected live here. So here's an example of what a quote looks like. There's different stories that we're including. And then when it's ready to go live, you just click publish and it's ready to go. So I'm going to hand it back over to Russ here. Oh, you're muted, Russ.
What, did one of you guys mute me? You're always muting me. No, I probably just did that myself and forgot. You've produced your impact report. Now what? Well, congratulations. First of all, it takes a lot of work to do this. The work of impact is not easy, and this should be the fruit of your efforts. The first thing should be a no-brainer. It should go without saying, but be certain to publish your impact report online. You'd be surprised how many people actually don't do that. They use it as more of a fulfillment mechanism when somebody actually asks, do they have an impact report? So don't overlook putting it out there online. Second of all, be sure to share it across all of your earned networks or owned networks that you have. Would be primarily, say, you've got it on your website, you're sending it out to your email newsletter list, you're putting it on your social channels and what have you. And then next, think about your stakeholders. And you have the traditional ones, whether it's, say, like employees or perhaps investors, but think about it very creatively how you might use this impact report. So you might send it to the local chamber of commerce, to the mayor's office. If you're a public benefit corporation, you might be required to send it to the Secretary of State's office. Think about how you might use it in your talent acquisition efforts as part of a package when you are recruiting people. And the same thing as far as like new employee onboarding. It could be a centerpiece of that as well. It's really an educational tool in many regards. And besides simply demonstrating and differentiating your company through impact, it's an opportunity to scale up your impact by actually advocating for the business models for good. So make certain that you share this broad and wide, and you go beyond just the typical common candidates that you might be thinking about.
All right, so we are at the Q&A portion of this LinkedIn Live. Paulina, do you want to get it kicked off?
Sure. Well, first of all, we want to make sure that you all know how to get in touch with us. We very much welcome your feedback, questions, comments, anything else that comes to mind. So our emails are listed on the slide. It's Elisa at Unitco, or Paulina at Unitco, or Russ at unitco.io. By all means, reach out. Let us know if you have additional things that we didn't get a chance to talk about today. In terms of questions, it seems like there are some in comments, and also there are questions that we hear all the time. They're kind of the frequently asked questions. So I could start with those, or Elisa, do you want to let us know what questions has come in today?
Yeah, sure. Well, so Annie Corver asked a couple of questions, and the first one was about the impact tracking categories. She said, based on these 4 categories, has it been determined, maybe through the BIA or B Corp, what, quote, impact is? Further, what, quote, social impact is, or environmental impact, et cetera, like what's in and what's out with impact reporting?
Russ, I'm going to throw this your way to get us started.
Oh, well, if I hear the question correctly, is it, well, maybe I'd ask for some clarification. Is this more about the BIA, or is it about the specifics of what we measure on unit of impact as far as environmental and social impact? Let's see if Annie gives you a follow-up to that.
Yeah. So since there's a bit of a delay, maybe we can circle back on that one. But Annie also had a second question, which is, what are the norms with overlaps between content included in an impact report versus an ESG report or a sustainability report?
I think an ESG report often gets into kind of the finances, and you see that term used a lot in financial markets and in impact investing. It's not the same thing necessarily what a small business would think of when they are creating the impact report. You know, ESG has become kind of a broad term, but truly not all that applicable in a way to a small business community that is much more practical and much more tactical in the way they want to measure the impact. A sustainability report is what a lot of I see that term used a lot with much larger corporations that have a sustainability chief impact officer. They may have sustainability department and very complex operations that require, like, you know, its own supply chain audits and whatnot. So it tends to be kind of a much broader conversation, and it usually focuses almost exclusively on the sustainability and the environmental metrics. Russ, anything else I'm forgetting?
No, I think you covered it fairly well. You know, I think ESG basically measures for larger companies, as you'd indicated, like some impact investment sort of categories. I really like to think that impact is differentiated by being proactive with your business, rather than in some ways reactive, which is you start measuring and reporting things, but where rubber really hits the road is when you put it at the center of your business model and you start doing things proactively to create impact rather than to just run a tight ship.
Well said. Great.
So Annie, I think, is going to be elaborating in the comments. And so we can circle back on that question again. But in the meantime, we have one from Noelle O'Brien, who asked, what should the difference be between an impact report and an impact section on your website?
Impact section on a website tends to be evergreen. So it's the kind of things that the company is doing on an ongoing basis, right? Not knowing a whole lot about your business, Noelle, it's hard to say, but if you're consistently, offsetting your, your carbon, if you're consistently donating money, if you're 1% for the planet, it's those kinds of things that are sort of evergreen. Impact report is very specific to a year and whatever happens in that 1 year. And that's why we talk a lot about, like, what made 2022 special? Did you try something new? Did you create a new program? Did you get involved in an advocacy campaign and maybe participated and get out the vote? Whatever it is, it's kind of unique to that 1 year and a snapshot of activities during that year.